Ignition, strap in.
Straight Talk with Matt HASLEY. Every Monday and Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Only on Armed Radio Global.
Wednesday night, time for some straight talk. This is your host, Matt HASLEY, coming to you. We have, Tiger signs with Taylormade. What? We got the PGA merchandise show going on in Orlando, Florida. Tiger's going to make his 2017 debut. We also have political news, as you want to call it. We got Trump makes executive orders. We also have a Secret Service agent that shared something a little dramatic. And we got to talk about streaming on Facebook Live, what some girl did. It's very sad. Also, police find $20 million under a bed. Not my bed. I wish it was. And not on my burger. That's one thing I wanted to talk about. Oh, when you hear that story, make you cringe. But, so in golf news, I knew it was eventually going to come sooner or later, that he was going to sign with somebody. But whoever it was, he'd been courting a few groups for a while. And said with him making his debut at Torrey Pines, Tiger Woods made an equipment move Wednesday morning, announced that he had chosen TaylorMade as a new equipment provider. The endorsement deal that Tiger put company's driver, woods, irons, and wedges in his bag. He tweeted out, after several months of testing all brands to choose from, there's choices clearly at TaylorMade Golf. Proud to join the family. TW. So, it said Woods already had everyone's attention ahead of the first official PGA Tour since August of 2015. Then he tweaked the world with a tweet Tuesday afternoon. The renewed speculation that the 14-time major winner and the game's ultimate moneymaker may have struck a deal with a new equipment company. I mean, this is huge for TaylorMade. Even though, he's like 600th in the world right now, he's still got 79 wins, 14 majors, and he's still a force to be reckoned with. He's 40 years old. Nicklaus won his last major at 46. I think Tiger could win all the way up until into his 50s. And the reason why I say that is because Tiger's even though he's had several surgeries on his back, if his back stays healthy, he is a lot better shape than Nicklaus. It said Tiger will have a full set of TaylorMade woods, including driver, in a bag this week, but still uses old Nike irons. The new deal includes irons, which is maybe the most surprising part of the announcement. He will work closely with TaylorMade engineers to develop a new custom set of irons and wedges, Tiger said in a statement. The woods he will use for the first event of 2017. Tiger will have this. It says the 2016 TaylorMade M2 driver 9.5 degrees, 2017 M2 3-wood 13 degrees, and an M1 5-wood 19 degrees this week. Tiger, coincidentally or not, teeing it up, opening 2 rounds with Farmers Insurance Open with a pair of TaylorMade highest profile players, Jason Day and reigning, what do you call him, He won the PGA, and he's also was Player of the Year, Dustin Johnson. So talk about a group to follow. The Marquee Threesome will hit Torrey Pines South Course about 1:40 Eastern on Thursday. So you look at I think it's going to be a big year for TaylorMade. You see other other players that are switching and moving. I see a lot of people that are going to PXG, which is high end. Big bucks to buy a set of PXGs. Well, also Michelle Wee on the Lee's Tour, she switched over to Callaway. She was a Nike player also. I'm not sure if Rory signed with Callaway, but he'd been playing Callaway for a while. Rory McIlroy is out until March, until his ribs heal up. I'm just kind of wondering if that was a little bit like, it was last, maybe 2 years ago. One guy was coming out of the Hawaiian. He was hot in Hawaii, and did something to his ribs, and it really, really slowed him down. You hate to see somebody get injured like that early, because then they don't seem like they have the time to prepare for Augusta. I think Rory will be a factor. He's one of those players that he has the talent to do it. But Tiger's going to play the next 4 out of 5 weeks, jump between PGA Tour and European Tour. But, I mean, I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. So, like earlier what I was saying, this week is the PGA Merchandise Show. Normally I got to go down there with my father and my brother, and we'd spend a week down there, play golf, and have a lot of fun. But a lot of new equipment out. They had one, and this is I'm going to get to see this. I'm actually signed on the Callaway staff, so I'll get to play this driver, the Great Big Bertha Epic Sub-Zero drivers. It's is a true paradigm shift. Powerful, low-spinning tour-level driver that's also incredibly forgiving. Unheard combination and high-speed, low-spin characteristics make it particularly appealing to tour pros. Yet it is exceptionally forgiving and easy to launch that a wide range of players will be able to play the Epic Sub-Zero. It's got multiple different things that are with it. If you're not into golf or don't understand golf, when a ball hits the face of a driver, what it causes it to expand. Have you ever seen a driver and a ball at high-speed resolution photography when they show the driver impacting the ball flattens out like a pancake almost. And the driver actually gives and expands on the top and bottom of the club. Well, Callaway went to work with one of the major car companies, and they designed, they increased distance from called jailbreak technology. Innovative new technology that changes the head and face behave and impact to promote more speed across the larger area of the face and increase the average distance. What they do is they were able to put a carbon fiber bottom and top, and they have these steel rods that run through that support the face, and it doesn't allow for the expansion, and it causes more jump off the face. Well, with the gram weights, you can adjust where the heel or toe weighting is to if somebody has a slice or a draw, and it can actually have 21 yards of correction. Well, that's quite a bit. 21 yards of correction. So I think it you can get it multiple different shaft options and stuff like that. But I think it's going to be a hot driver on tour and a hot driver for the average player to play. They're going to see increased distance. That's what most every guy wants. if your driver isn't the longest driver on tour, guys don't care. The thing they see is straight, or long, not straight. But you can get 2 interchangeable weights in the head and toe, just spin weight and launch angle. People don't know it. They call COR, coefficient of restitution. And then they have MOI, which is a moment of inertia. So you get your technology involved in building these things is unbelievable. It's like when a car, they sit them in a airflow chamber. Well, they're doing everything. They got high-speed photography. They got sensors on it. Designed to do is determine how much the head twists and how much everything. It's people don't realize how much is spent on these clubs. One, marketing, but also design, so they can do is allow people to play better golf. Sell more clubs, of course, but allow people to play better golf. Because if you didn't play better golf, it wouldn't be worth it. So I got started here. I didn't even mention our sponsors out there, e24.com. If you haven't ate yet, we'll log on to e24.com. Download that app for your favorite mobile device. Click, order, and eat. It's like a food truck in your pants. Also, hotsaucevault.com. You need it. Louie's got it. Check out hotsaucevault.com. Hottest of the hot. Wimpy for the wimp. You got gag gifts. You name it. He's got it all. So, also Lyft, LYFT. Need a ride somewhere? Log on to lyft.com. Lyft. And they'll get you there. So, I have a product showcase that is showing equipment for 2017. Of course, I'm not going to go through them all, but I think it runs. Callaway has the Epic, of course. That's their new line. They have drivers and fairway woods. They got 2 models. They got the Great Big Bertha Epic Driver and the Sub-Zero. They also have the Epic Fairway Wood. They also made a new Callaway Mac Daddy Forged Wedge. And they have the Epic Sub-Zero Fairway Woods. But then you look at, they also, for a lower price, they came out with the Callaway Big Bertha Fusion Driver. You get the interchangeable loft and square, neutral, and adjustments for the shaft, which is pretty cool. The other ones still have those adjustments, but it doesn't have the weight changing properties as the other ones. They also have the Great Big Bertha OS hybrids. Cleveland come out with a new what is called a TFI Elevado 2135 putter. It's a counterbalance true fill innovation putter. So it's through Cleveland Golf. Cleveland Huntington Beach 1 putter. Got kind of a different design on the front there. And Cobra King F7 driver. Most of them are all coming out with multiple weight positions and everything like that. Cobra has new irons that are coming out too. They have the Cobra King F7 irons and the Cobra King F7 1 length irons. And they have the King Forge Tour iron. And the King Forge Tour 1 length iron. So, and then the Cobra Utility iron. But Cobra is also owned by Puma. So, you also have Mizuno, which a friend of mine is one of the regional directors from Mizuno. Played high school golf against him. I haven't seen him for ages, but Mizuno coming out with a new driver called the GPX 900 driver. Multiple weights. It's a lot of technology in this driver for correction, to help people straighten their ball flight out. They also have the Mizuno GPX Forge 900 irons and the 900 Hawk metal irons. And Odyssey has the O-Works putters in line, and Odyssey Milled Collection RSX V-Line Fang putter. And I got to see these in person. The Ping made the iBlade irons, good looking iron. Kind of a different look for Ping, not that cast that you normally see from Ping. And they also have the Ping Volt Voss putter. But PXG has the 0311 XF iron. Man, that's a different looking iron if you've ever seen it. And they have the PXG drone putter. Strixon has new woods out and irons. Check those out. And then Taylormade. Taylormade's got the new M1 driver, M2 driver, M2 fairway, M1 irons, M2 irons. So yeah, there's quite a bit of new clubs that are out coming out. We'll see a tour presence out on tour. Also, Wilson, of course, they're having the D300 series out, but they also had their driver that came out from their show when they did the driver versus driver. That's still out for them. They also have the Wilson D300 irons. So yeah, you're going to see also. You go to the show, you see everything. Shoes, you see, anything that you can think that's related to golf, they come out with gadgets, you name it. Some really cool stuff to go check out. I mean, it's, check the Golf Channel in the morning. They usually have a segment on it. They go around and they showcase places. They have a new product showcase. It's really a cool thing to see if you've never been to. A lot of them stuff have technology. They have stuff in your shoes. You got the IO Fit smart shoes where it connects to your smartphone. I don't know if it's in the I think it's in the heel technology where you walk around and it tells you how many steps you've taken, your distance and everything. I think rather than building a whole brand new shoe, why not just put an insert in, or something that you clip to your shoe. That way you don't have to make a whole new shoe. That'd be easy. That way any shoe could do it. So, but you see companies live and die going to be at the show. It's it's crazy. I mean, you see stuff that you can't believe that are products. But that's the innovative design in any business. You see it. That happens in all of them. We're going to take a quick break here, and I'll be right back. Shouldn't be too long, but...
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
And now, another fresh insight from Roger Berkowitz, President and CEO of Legal Seafoods.
If your wife can't take the time to test your tuna for purity, then why should you take the time to come to a complete stop before letting her out of the car? Just saying.
Legal Seafoods. If it isn't fresh, it isn't legal.
Hey, Dan. How's the day going so far?
My day couldn't be better. You pull up less than 3 minutes after I open my Lyft app, and how do you greet me? With a kind hello? Just delightful.
Great. Care for a cookie?
A cookie? A chocolate chip cookie? I'd love one.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. How did you know I love this song?
I mean, come on, it's the Cold War kids. Everybody loves them.
Whoa! Who taught this guy how to merge? That was a fantastic merge!
Couldn't agree more.
That's it? That's all this costs? What's this thing running on? Smiles and high fives? You son of a Mike, I love you.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Lyft. Driving you happy. Just download and go.
And we're back. I been sick for the last few days. My sinuses are going off. I didn't really think you wanted to listen to me. I don't think you wanted to listen to me blow my nose live on the air, so I had to take a little break there. But no, one of the last things with golf, I saw the John Deere Classic, which is Claire Peterson is the tournament director, was nominated for tour event of the year, and I think they should get it. They do a great job. But also, they have John Deere re-upping their agreement for being the PGA Tour sponsor for I had the article, I'm not sure how many years, but glad to see that. Glad to see him keep that active. John Deere is located just across the river here, the headquarters. I think this area should be green. It's good for. We have. What is it here? We got. I want to talk about real quick. I was shocked to see them even admit this. But it said NFL referees, and this came out, this was on MSN Sports. It says NFL has reportedly admitted that crucial 15-yard penalty the Dallas Cowboys were assessed in last week's playoff loss to Green Bay Packers should not have been called. And so with Dallas trailing 7-3 in the first quarter and the ball in the 37-yard line, officials called a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on a wide receiver, Bryce Butler, for entering the huddle and not participating in the play. So the caller raced a 22-yard completion to Terrence Williams that would have placed Dallas at the Packers' 16-yard line. So it said too many men in the huddle. Call on Dallas for 15 yards was a mistake. The league admitted to this team's sorry. It said, had the play happened in the fourth quarter, it would have been magnified. But the fact that it took place early in the game doesn't make it any less important. Instead of having a first down in the red zone, the Cowboys faced 2nd and 20 on their own 48. They said they punted 2 plays later, so you could argue that the incorrect call took a score away from the game and ended up on the last second field goal. It says, it's almost like when the playoffs, when Des Bryant made the catch, but they said there wasn't a catch, that when they showed it again, was a catch. Yeah, Dallas has just got screwed twice. But, you see mistakes like that. You see, I've never seen that called, ever. And to call it in a playoff game, I was shocked. I know that's going back and it's old news, but you look how much money that costs. Look how much sponsors that cost. Look how much ad space. Let's say they had won that game, and they went on to play Atlanta and win, and they go to the Super Bowl. Just think of the difference. I'm not saying people won't watch Atlanta, New England, but just think of the amount of viewers that would have watched Dallas, New England. That would have been crazy. Not saying anything bad about Atlanta. I mean, I'll watch it, but they even said the prices for Super Bowl tickets dropped when Dallas lost. I mean, that tells you something right there. You know, if they would have got the storybook 2 teams to play against each other with Dallas and New England, they would have had probably one of the biggest draws. I mean, for any Super Bowl game maybe ever. I don't know if Dallas could beat New England, but they should have beat Green Bay. I haven't even ribbed my sister, who's a Green Bay fan. Her and her husband and her kids are all Green Bay fans. But they got pummeled by Atlanta. And I mean, usually she gives me the go F yourself, but she doesn't just use F. Or she'll say F off or something like that. Usually it's something to that. I think it's French. Fragile, yeah. But, yeah, she likes to tell me off when she loses. So, this year I didn't rub it in. I didn't say anything to him. I just figured it wasn't worth the time. But we have this mouse is just... I got an old mouse hooked up to my laptop, and you move it around, and it doesn't like to work half the time. So, but no, I mean the ramifications of a bad call are in the millions. I bet that cost the NFL. Just think of jersey sales, ticket sales, TV ads. It might be tens of millions of dollars of what it costs for some official making a call that hasn't been called in years. That tends to make me think that they were looking for that. I'm like, if you're not calling it in the regular season and setting a precedence, don't call it in the playoffs. Then they come back and apologize. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that really helps. I think they'd rather not have you apologize and just be pissed than to have you apologize and really piss them off. So, other sports news. Usain Bolt loses his 2008 Olympic relay gold. Not because of something he did. He said he lost one of his 9 Olympic golds because of a doping case involving Jamaican teammate Nesta Carter. The IOC said Wednesday that Carter tested positive for methyl hexaniamine, a banned stimulant, in reanalysis of samples from the 2008 Beijing Olympics. So it's weird. Is Olympic rules state that the entire relay team can be disqualified and stripped of medals if one runner fails the doping test. It said Carter and Bolt were teammates by the 4x100 meter team, which set a world record of 37:10. So Carter ran the opening leg and Bolt took the baton third, and a team that also included Michael Frater and Asafa Powell. But the thing I get is it's 2008, and they're retesting samples from 2008 now. You know, what made you go back? So, it says, Bolt and Carter will retain their gold medals from Jamaica's relay win in 2012 London Olympics and a record time of 36.84 seconds that stands today. Bolt ran the final leg on the team. He took the baton from Johan Blake, who served a ban in 2009 for ingesting the same substance as Carter. Carter and Bolt also helped lower the relay world record between Olympic titles, taking the gold at 2011 World Championship in Daegu, South Korea. Been there. It said the 31-year-old Carter is teamed with Bolt on 3 straight World Championship relay winning teams from 2011 to 2015. So, It says he also took individual bronze in the 100 in 2013 in Moscow behind Bolt and Justin Gatlin in the United States. So, yeah, you look at, there's got to be some reason why they're coming out and testing, 2016, 8 years later. So, something is causing them to bring those out. We have, a lot of stuff going on. Trump announced that he will keep James Comey to remain FBI chief under Trump. James Comey reportedly told his top agents across the country that President Trump requested he stay on the job. So, I'm just wondering if he is asked him to start an investigation into Hillary, or when it will happen. Trump also threatened to send in the feds if Chicago doesn't fix the carnage. Said President Donald Trump threatened to send in the federal agents to Chicago if the city doesn't curb its skyrocketing murder rate. It was unclear whether which federal agents Trump was referring to, but Chicago's remarkably high murder rate has garnered national attention over the past year. It said the president generally only calls in federal officials in worst-case scenarios, usually natural disasters such as this case. New Orleans and Hurricane Katrina destroyed the city. But you look at, said, this is the tweet that came out by Donald Trump. It says, if Chicago doesn't fix the horrible carnage going on, 228 shootings, I'm sure that got cut off, but it says 228 shootings, and just in 2017, with 42 killings, up 24% from 2016. I will send in the feds. It was retweeted over 53,000 times and liked almost 200,000 times. They need to do something. When you got a murder rate that's higher than LA and New York combined, the policies of that city are failing the citizens of that city. And if it's gang on gang violence, then they need to get in there and try to stop the problem, because innocent people will get shot. So I don't know what I'm sure he's not going to send in the National Guard or anything like that, but probably the FBI or something like that. U.S. Marshals. I don't know how you would do it, but it says they also had Trump had different executive orders that he's signed since he's been in office. Since taking office, President Trump has looked in to fulfill some of his campaign promises by using executive orders. Every president does that. And here are the orders he's signed so far. This is the ones. Multi-pronged orders on border security and immigration enforcement, including the authorization of U.S.-Mexico border wall, the stripping of federal grant money to sanctuary cities, hiring 5,000 more Border Patrol agents, ending catch-and-release policies for illegal immigrants, and reinstating local and state immigration enforcement partnerships. The biggest one, I thought, is to stop the sanctuary cities with stop of federal grant money to sanctuary cities. You stop the money to them, they'll stop their sanctuary cities. It said 2 orders reviving the Keystone XL pipeline and Dakota Access pipeline. He also signed 3 other related orders that would expedite the environmental permitting process for infrastructure projects related to the pipelines. I understand the pipeline, but there's a map of all the pipelines across the United States. Take a look at that map and you tell me which one they're protesting. They're everywhere. I had not seen that map until, nobody shows that map that's protesting the pipeline. There are pipelines all over the place. They'd rather have them go through a town on rail where they've had the things blow up and burn down, small little towns. So it says, in order to reinstate the so-called Mexico City policy, a ban on federal funds to international groups that perform abortions or lobby to legalize or promote abortion. And the policy was instituted in 1984 by President Reagan, but has gone in and out of effect depending on the party in the White House. I don't know why we would have, for international groups, why we would be funding abortions for international groups. That makes no sense. Or promoting them. He signed a notice that the U.S. will begin withdrawing from Trans-Pacific Partnership trade deal. Trump called the order a great thing for the American worker to get rid of it. And he also an order imposing a hiring freeze for some federal workers, government workers, as a way to shrink the size of government. This excludes the military, as Trump noted at the signing. He also signed an order that directs federal agencies to ease the regulatory burdens of Obamacare. It orders agencies to waive, defer, grant exemptions from, or delay the implementation of any provision or requirement of Obamacare that imposes a fiscal burden on any state or a cost, fee, tax, penalty, or regulatory burden on individual families, healthcare providers, health insurers, patients, recipients of healthcare services, purchasers of health insurance, or makers of medical devices, products, or medications. Hopefully that will help. You see these fees are going through the roof, skyrocketing. They're finding out that their premiums are doubling, or if not more. I don't know how you could afford to have insurance. We had the march, Women's March. The problem is I don't have any problem with the Women's March. I have a problem with who they partnered with that was part of the Women's March. And if you look at who they were partnered with as part of the Women's March, it says her name is, let's see here if I can get her name. It's Sangsauer is her name. I'm not quite sure of her first name, but she was supports Sharia law. And they're talking about that Trump is against women, and they're protesting Trump, saying that his policies are against women, and they're protesting in combination with Muslims that support Sharia law. And I'm like, wait a minute. How do you figure that that's not against women? Sharia law is based completely that women are a object owned by their husband. Try going to stand out and protest for gay rights in Saudi Arabia. They'll kill you. It's I can't believe that they don't see that. They're so blinded by hate. You see the stuff going on. People protesting in the streets, attacking people just because they have a shirt or a hat on that says they were for Trump. And they're all talking about love Trump's hate, love Trump's hate. Well, we're going to beat you up because you don't believe what we believe. Where's the tolerance? It's not there. They have the movement was based on women's rights. It was based on being able to have the right to essentially kill your child if they want to. And that's what they want. They want to be able to have that right. My body, my right. Okay? Well, they have one of the Atlantic news agency. They come out and they said fetal heartbeats are imaginary. Said Atlantic magazine had to scramble Tuesday to repeatedly amend a news article against ultrasound technology that spoke of fetal heartbeats as imaginary and denied that unborn babies are alive. When a series of observers pointed out the many flagrant falsehoods in the story, the Atlantic issued a formal retraction of its statement that there is no heartbeat to speak of in a 6-week-old fetus. Nonetheless, it merely changed its provocative subtitle without comment. The technology has been used to create an imaginary heartbeat and sped up videos that falsely depict a response to stimulus. It says, how the ultrasound pushed the idea that a fetus is a person. This is they're making this stuff up. It has also silently expunged other embarrassing errors in the piece, such as calling John Kasich the governor of Indiana. No, not Indiana. Time for publication just before massive March for Life in Washington, D.C. for the anniversary of Supreme Court Roe v. Wade decision. The article by Moira Weigel attempts to show how ultrasounds of unborn children have no discernible effect on women's choice to carry the baby to term. Even the amended piece contains outright lies, taking the Atlantic fake news to a whole new level. Weigel makes the ludicrous claim that ultrasounds make it possible for a male doctor to evaluate the fetus without female interference. It says, according to a 2015 study, women make up an impressive 85% of all residents in obstetrics and gynecology in the graduate medical education class of 2013 and 2014. That means the vast majority of doctors wielding ultrasounds are women, not men. It says ultrasounds are not a weapon of the patriarch, but important scientific tool being used more often by women than men. So they're saying that the heartbeat is faked. It's a man. They're, they will go as far to just flat out lie. I mean, who's going to believe that? And that comes on the heels. Representative Steve King of Iowa files a federal lawsuit. Pro-life congressman stood in front of the Capitol, along with Janet Porter, the Ohio woman who led the fight for the passage of that state's heartbeat bill. All in support, Representative Steve King, Republican from Iowa, and his Heartbeat Protection Act of 2017. H.R. 490, which restores legal protection to unborn children once their pulse is detected. If it is a profound religious and moral understanding that every human person has the right to life, said King, who is joined by Rep. Louis Gohmert, Republican of Texas, Rep. Trent Franks, Republican of Arizona, Rep. Scott Perry, Republican of Pennsylvania, Rep. Don Bacon, Republican of Nebraska, along with pro-life supporters of the bill. The question that has hung before the courts since 1973 is, when does life begin? We all know when that is, Congressman said. We stand here and assert that it has to be a distinctive moment. You can't guess a thing called viability. You can't say 22 weeks versus 20 weeks. You have to say it is at a specific instant. The most precise instant we can describe is when we can identify by science and the moment that a heartbeat begins, he said. The core tenet is, if a heartbeat can be detected, the baby is protected, he said. King, who is chairman of the Constitutional Civil Justice Subcommittee of the House Judiciary Committee, said the said the only exception to the protection for the unborn in the bill is for the circumstance when the life of the mother is in physical danger. Abortionists who violate the law would face up to 5 years in prison, he said. The bill was filed January 12th and was referred to the House Judiciary Committee for consideration. So, you think about that. What if there's a heartbeat there? You got to think that there's a baby there. So they're trying to say the ultrasound doesn't actually detect a heartbeat. What does it do? Is when they magically come from the womb, all of a sudden, boop, the heartbeat starts? No, I'm sorry. It's not magic like when they come out into the air, the heart starts beating. So the Atlantic comes out with an article that just unbelievably false. But they amend the article and then they still lie about it. So, and John Kasich was in Ohio, just by if you didn't know. So, in other news, we had, people are so irritated with Trump that they're still coming out with Trump Twitter death threats. And I think they need to investigate all of them. But this happened. German newspaper publisher. It says publisher Joseph Jaffe came up with the not-so-novel idea to remove Donald Trump from office was to have someone in the White House murder him. After a caller to the show asked the panel if there was a still way that out of the Trump catastrophe to remove him from office. Well, I'm sorry, but you're a German newspaper. Worry about Germany. I have no care. If you guys want to do is let your country be run. Merkel's. I won't go. I wanted to go visit Germany. Not now. I have no desire to go over there. I talked to a friend of mine. He would go over to Europe every year. He'd spend the summer. He says it's unbelievable. The migrants that are hanging out on street corners and harassing people. He said it's just like trash. He said, but the people there that he knows are still good. But he says it's really, really unbelievable how it's changed. So, I was talking about also on this happened on Facebook Live. I couldn't believe it. This is South Florida. Another girl hangs herself while streaming it live. This time it happened in Miami. It says for 2 hours, Nika Venant broadcast from the bathroom of Miami Gardens foster home. Eventually fashioning a homemade noose from her scarf, the live feed ended abruptly. Nika, a petite 14-year-old with long hair and a sweet smile, killed herself overnight Sunday while live streaming the event. Administrators for the Florida Department of Children and Families would offer little detail Tuesday about her death, other than to confirm that both child welfare administrators and Miami Gardens Police Department were investigating the suicide death of a child in the care of a foster family. And so we're absolutely horrified and devastated by the news of this young girl's death, said DCF Secretary Mike Carroll. We will do everything we can to support this family. All that cared for her as they begin to heal from this tragedy. You think about what takes somebody to this level, to where they go on Facebook. And I see it every day. I see people on Facebook and they it's their life. They have to be on Facebook. They have to they really care what everybody's saying. People they don't even know. And they get in arguments back and forth, and they get it to where it's so heated up, and then all of a sudden they're like, you get somebody like this young girl, she's so worried about what other people think that she takes her own life. It says, they said this is the second one to happen in as many weeks. She was a gorgeous young girl. I don't understand it. I had a friend of mine, his daughter committed suicide. I talked to people that knew her in class, and they said that they knew her. She's very popular, very pretty girl, but she didn't seem like she was ever very happy. And that's the sad part of it. When they don't realize what they do, how they hurt people that are left. That people really do care for them, but they think they don't. Talk to somebody. Get help. Go there. At least ask. Find out maybe something that can be done to help you out. You don't know. Don't make a temporary or permanent decision on a temporary problem. I mean, it's a shame. She was sitting there talking. She says, I don't want to live no more. And somebody's talking back to her, what happened? I just tired of my life pointless. I don't want to do this anymore. Just a gorgeous young girl. Why the heck? Oh, I just can't believe that. It's just a waste. You just can't believe that somebody would sit there and go to this extreme. It happens all the time. It's happening more and more. It's happening with veterans. It's happening with young kids. The bullying situation is that they don't stop when these kids get home. The social media aspect never lets these kids get away. So I don't know if she was bullied. I don't know. Maybe down the road we'll hear about this. Just sad to see. But you see people that they feel like this is what they have to do to get out of the problems that they're facing. That they have to do is, kill themselves. I just think it's sad. Hopefully we'll, if you hear somebody on Facebook that's talking about it, that you know them, try to offer them help. Notify somebody that they might, because you don't want to do is sit back and say, oh, well, they're just talking, they're not going to do anything, and then end up really doing something. With all the storms they've had south, this is a crazy story here. I just, how, you just wonder. It says violent thunderstorms tore through the south over the weekend, killing 19 people. But an incredible stroke of good fortune, a bathtub probably saved the life of a woman sheltering from a twister that carved a 13-mile path in East Texas near the border with Louisiana. So the National Weather Service Forecast Office in Shreveport, Louisiana, filed a storm report Monday night that's simply jaw-dropping. It describes an 800-yard wide tornado packing winds of 130 miles that tore the roof off storage buildings on Saturday and tossed a party barge 200 yards into a grove of trees. But here's the unbelievable part. A woman inside took shelter in a bathtub, and the tornado lifted the tub out of the home and deposited it in the woods with the woman still in the tub, but the woman was not injured. Wow. You always hear about crazy things. When I was a kid, my neighbor had laid down by a curb. He had nowhere to go. It was right on him. Picked him up. Set him down just as easy as it picked him up several blocks away. I mean, what's the odds of that? So, yeah, you see, taking a piece of straw and throwing it through, drilling it through a telephone pole or, something with that amount of winds. We had a tornado that went through our golf course last year, took out 38 trees. I mean, you never know what it's going to do. Luckily, that tornado that went through my neighborhood was up at the time it went through and landed just after all the houses. It landed only in a spot where it could do tree damage and didn't do any damage to any housing. If it had come through, there would have been multiple dead. So, and luckily it was EF1. If it had been an EF3, which is what went through this neighborhood here, you're looking at massive damage. Last story I wanted to do is talk about, and this one I read this one, and this is gross. So, be ready to cringe, fans. This one made me sick. Fast food worker in Mississippi turned herself into police after she allegedly put, I'm reading only what it says, menstrual blood on a customer's cheeseburger. Turned herself in Monday morning to Columbus Police Department and released after she posted $5,000 bond. The Columbus Police Department issued a warrant for arrest Friday. Samuel was working at Jack's restaurant when she allegedly put menstrual blood and saliva on a cheeseburger she served to a drive-through customer between 10 and 10:30. The victim, who is unidentified, reported the incident to the police. The co-worker told her mother what transpired, the details to which she started to gain traction once her mother posted it on Facebook. Samuel is no longer employed by the restaurant, and if convicted, she faces up to 5 years in prison on a felony charge of knowingly selling unwholesome food and drink. Jack's Family Restaurant is cooperating with authorities and conducting its own internal investigation. What is wrong with people? I just can't see that. People doing that to people. I saw a pretty young girl, too. Just what a waste. It just amazes how evil people can be to other people. But we have... here. Last story here coming out. Bowling Green student mistaken lab equipment for Ku Klux Klan hood. A student at Bowling Green State University accidentally confused lab equipment for a Ku Klux Klan member. They tweeted out, "There's been an active KKK group in Bowling Green, Ohio, since 1922. Excuse me. It says, "How does this promote diversity and inclusion?" And then it says, the president from the school tweets, "Thanks for sharing. We looked into this. We discovered it's a cover on a piece of lab equipment." They showed the pictures. Twitter users had fun misunderstanding after President Mary Ellen Mazzei's response tweet went viral. So, yeah, it's it happens. People overreact. No, really? Well, it's that time of the night. We're going to call it a night. I'll be back on with Joe Rocks tomorrow. They talk with Joe Rocks. And I'll be back on Friday. So everybody have a great night. If you see something, say something. Most of all, be safe. There was a video out I saw today where a guy went to rob the lady at the grocery store at gunpoint, or at knife point, and concealed carrier saved it. So if you're concealed carrier, carry. Be responsible. Don't carry it for to be a badass. Carry it for safety. Protect your family. Protect your kids. So have a great night. We'll See you tomorrow night.